Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a pretty special episode of the podcast, I would say. So definitely not your average one. This will be out on both the PYO Boys feed and the Fallen in the Forest feed. I haven't updated the Fallen in the Forest for a while, so I figured that audience probably deserves a little treat as well. Today we're doing the Granny Cast. I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people in the building. I guess everybody can introduce themselves. We have Ashley.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley.
We have Madison.
Hi.
Who happens to be my little sister. And we also have me
Veronica.
and Madison's grandma. Yeah, what is your name, Grandma?
Veronica Oliver. From
Nah. What is your full name as it was originally? What were you named at birth?
My name was Myrna. Veronica.
So, is Myrna your middle name or is Veronica your
Correct. Middle name.
Myrna?
Yes.
So when Madison and I were growing up, for sure, definitely when I was growing up, people would only ever refer to you as Myrna.
Yes, I was called Myrna all my life.
What was it it's not totally abnormal for people to be known by their middle names, but like when did that begin for you? Was it like since a child? Or?
From childhood, because I think my mother didn't recognize that they put my name as Veronica first on my birth certificate.
Oh.
And she wanted me to be called Myrna.
Okay.
I went to school underneath Myrna. I did everything until I started to make children.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to do my children passport.
So you needed
and
your
the
official
immigration
government.
officer said, you know, your name is not Myrna. And I had a little attitude and I said, you can't tell me what's my name. You're not my mother. And you say, wait, miss. Whatever name is first on your birth certificate is what I have to go with. So from, I would say, 1983 is when my name was corrected. So,
Okay. And that's about when you came to America? Or just when you were getting passports done?
Just doing passports.
Okay. So we know a little bit about Mom's upbringing, but not necessarily from your perspective. But I want to touch back a little further than that because I don't know if you remember, we were going out for Mother's Day. I think it was it Maddie? Where we were at the at the seafood restaurant that my family swears up and down is like funded by some type of shady cartel drug activity. But we were talking, and I remember I said that if I was to have a child, I would want to name my child Bartholomew, and that sparked you to tell a story about apparently the patriarch of our family was a man in Trinidad. Our family, as it has been known in Trinidad, is a man named Bartholomew.
My father's side of the family was Bartholomew.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened along the way, and he wasn't called by his last name anymore. He was called Williams.
There was some story you told me about him coming on a boat from Grenada.
Yeah, my father, he migrated at the age of 14 and come to Trinidad on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
He had no family there. He just came, and he was Bartholomew, but because he met up on somebody who wanted to give him a nice job, and this is when he become a Williams. So we don't know what kind of thing transpired.
Okay.
But he become Williams.
Yeah.
I was born a Williams. I was born the year after my mommy and daddy married.
Were you their first child?
No, I'm not. I'm the 6th out of 10.
Whoa. We had no idea that you had. It was okay. Wait, all from that marriage, or
Yes.
did each of your parents have other children?
No, my
Okay.
mother made 10 children for my father.
Holy cow!
We all siblings by same parents.
So, did your parents? What nationality was your mother?
My mother was a born Trinidadian, but my father was from Grenada.
Okay, so then that does make it so that you're as Trinidadian as you are Grenadian. But did you feel Grenadian? Was it a thing that your father was Grenadian and he
No,
came
my
from
father
somewhere
never
different?
knew Grenada. He never returned to
Because he came at
Grenada
14.
until he was 50-something years of age for a visit.
Why did he go back?
Well, he born in Grenada and he don't know the country and he wanted to go back to see family and stuff. So he went and they granted him a stay of 21 days. He was pissed off about that.
Well, you wanted longer?
He wanted more and they said, no, he said his birthright. He become a Trinidadian.
Oh, because he got passport. I mean, he got citizenship in Trinidad.
Yes.
Huh. That's always interesting. So, did you have any connection to his parents, to your grandparents on his side,
No,
cousins, things
his
like that?
mother passed away when we was babies.
Okay.
We had connection with his sister, his auntie. Not his aunt, sorry, my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Tanti Lottie. We was very connected with her. When school closed, we'd go there for vacation.
Okay.
He only had one sister.
Okay.
His mother only made 2 kids, which is him and her.
What was it like growing up in a house full of 10 children? Like, me and Madison is just 2 of us. It's always been 2 of us. My dad has more kids, but it's always been, like, just the 2 of us, right? So, we don't have that experience that even Mom has. Where you didn't have 10, but Mom has, like, several siblings. Madison and I, for all intents and purposes, really only have each other, right? What was it like being raised with 10 other people? Well, being raised with 9 other people. Mm-hmm.
You had to defend it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as usual, I was the head of it.
So where did your personality kind of fall? Because you would be considered like a middle child, but they say like
not even a middle child. I was definitely like my father. I was very aggressive. You don't mess around.
Were you the most like that of your siblings, or were a few of you like that?
No, me.
Just you?
Yeah.
So you basically ran the house.
Yeah.
Are you still close with everybody now?
Somewhat.
But Tanti Dolores is definitely.
I don't like her.
Okay, this needs to go in a different direction. But I'm just asking. So you don't keep up with any of your other family like that? Or like your sisters and brothers?
My sisters and them.
Okay.
We all do the same job now.
Okay.
But the only one I don't mess with is that one.
But how many of you guys are in America?
5 of us.
5 out of okay.
Girls, only girls.
Okay. Why do you think that most of the boys didn't come?
My brother had a good job with the government, which my father get him in as young as he could. And he have his own family there, so he don't like to fly. So and now he's a pensioner. So
okay. And we were talking earlier. You said that you were something of a gangster. Is that what was being said?
Right, sure. I beat everybody.
What?
Neighborhood scared.
Why do you think that was? Was it a neighborhood that you felt like particularly you needed to be tough in, or was it just kind of your nature?
No, I had to be tough in that neighborhood, and plus it was my nature. I lived like my father.
So your father was a tough guy?
Oh, yeah. Everybody
Really?
respect that man.
Okay.
The respect was tall. Nobody...
Because he basically had to raise himself since he was 14.
That's right.
And he met your mom... No, you said your mom had been married a year.
No, they were... I'm the 6th child.
Yeah, but before they started making kids, they had been married about a year?
No. They married a year after.
So they had 5 kids before they got married.
They've been together.
Okay.
Before, yeah.
Since they were younger then, right? Were they close in age?
No. My father was approximately 14 years older than her.
Oh, yes. So he had been in the country quite a while before he met her.
He came there since he's 14 years old.
Yeah.
But I don't know when they met.
Okay.
I don't know what age they met.
Yeah. That type of stuff you wouldn't know. But
you could kind of calculate it because from my first sister age, and she's now 70.
70? Okay. So I guess to get to where this story is kind of going, right? When do you kind of become independent and strike out on your own? Our mother is your first child, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that for you happened a lot younger than maybe you were comfortable with.
I was a teenager when I had your mother.
Was that... Obviously, that was a stressful situation. How did your family react?
Horrible, but it wasn't stressful for me. I take care of my child. I never left her with my mommy. She never take a bottle, so she was fully breastfed. I never party or anything when I had her. Although I had her young, I was still a child for my mother. I couldn't do what I want. So she was raised in the house with me and my mother and other people.
So you definitely felt like you still felt a lot of love and help from your family, or you didn't feel like you was cast aside, or like
no, definitely not. No, we was always together.
Yeah, because being in a different country and also it being such a different generation, was there this big hysteria around like teen pregnancy? Was even the term teen pregnancy a thing?
No.
Okay. No. And the person that is Mom's father, was he much older than you?
Like 2 to 3 years older.
Okay, so you guys were in similar age groups.
Yeah.
Were you like schoolmates?
Oh, I don't know what school he went to. I don't even know if he went to school.
Well, how did you guys meet?
From the same neighborhood.
What, like under a sycamore tree? What happened?
No, he lives in the same neighborhood. We live in the same phrase. He lives on 6th Street and I live on 8th Street.
Was he spitting game? Did Grandpa have good game?
My
Did he
grand
scoop you up?
Oh, Grandpa was nice. Grandpa had girls. Grandpa was hot.
And this is mom. This is mom's dad.
Yeah. Clifford Hewitt.
Oh my goodness, Clifford.
Clifford was the hot thing in those days.
They don't even make Cliffords anymore. That's the thing. Is another thing about the island I think is funny is you guys are not done with names. You don't throw them away. They're still making Miriams. They're still making Gertrudes.
Yes, we are.
Cliffords and the like.
Yes. Emmanuel, we still making like Emmanuel.
Oh my goodness. So Clifford was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
We liked Clifford.
Yeah, but I had to school him a bit.
How did you? What does this mean? What does this mean?
He was kind of tough on both, and I had to put him in check.
So he definitely was not tougher than you.
I don't know who was tougher than who, but I know I take a pick to him to quiet him down.
You took a pick to him?
Yes.
Like an ice pick?
Oh yeah, give him a few.
What ice is there in Trinidad?
Ice pick. We have ice in Trinidad, block ice.
Okay.
We sell picks.
Wow.
You sell block ice when you're having parties and all these things to cool your drinks.
Huh.
You know what a pick is.
So about what age? Because I think one thing that I think Madison and I see a lot of ourselves in, particularly you, mom as well, but I think more so you is kind of an affinity for music and lyrics that move you and stuff like that. And I noticed that when you listen to music, like you pause and you take very careful time analyzing the lyrics and you like, this is good because she said it this way or he said it this way. And I'm very similar when I dissect music and stuff like that, where I'm like, he could have said it this way, she could have said it this way, but they said it this way, and that's what makes it. What age do you think that kind of started for you? I know music is, first of all, as far as most culture, but specifically in Trinidad and things like that, music is just kind of something you can't escape, right? It's pretty much in everybody's bones.
Yeah, because our culture is steel band and calypso. Mm-hmm. We was raised with that. That's our culture. Mm-hmm. Every country had the thing. That's ours, calypso and steel.
And how is that different back then? Because I listened to a lot, and I listened to some old, I listened to Sparrow and stuff like that. But
different back then because we didn't have soca, monarch, and all these things.
Yeah.
It was more like pecan.
Okay, which is what? How would you describe that?
Like, pecan is like you and me rivaling together on stage to compete.
Okay.
So it's like that. And they sing things like, when Sparrow was the guy in them days, he would sing song like
Saltfish
Sweet, and the sailors come ashore and this and that, things like that. It was different.
Yeah,
the beat wasn't like this and wild, and it was more calm.
One thing I think that is a common thread for me is whenever somebody who's never listened to soca, right, or anything like that, whenever they ask me what it's about, I go like 90% of it is about soca, right? Yes. And then the other 10% of it is about just regular stuff that were going on in your life. Yeah. Is that similar to the content that you experienced back then, or was there different focus in the music? Was the music focused on different?
It was a different focus on the music. Okay. Definitely, it was different.
How much did? And again, because I don't think people understand. First of all, I was telling my friend this. I was telling Biggs this the other day, and this was on a podcast, and he couldn't believe it when I was like, first of all, most Americans have they couldn't tell you if they've met a Trinidadian, they couldn't tell you if they met a Grenadian, a Bajan. Everything is Jamaica to them. Yeah. Yeah. Jamaica made it mainstream.
Once
Jamaica
you black, you Jamaican.
Yes, if you are Caribbean and black, you are Jamaican to Americans, right? And when I told my friend, I told Biggs that because Biggs is like me. He's half Jamaican, half Trinidadian, but it's reversed. His father is Trinidadian. And his mother's Jamaican. He was raised Jamaican. I was raised Trinidadian, right? But he was shocked by this. He's like, what do you mean? But we also come from Brooklyn, right? Which is like Little Caribbean is the most Caribbean, probably infused place. Yeah. Ashley also lives in a section of the Bronx that is heavily Jamaican specific. Yes. But there's like Guyanese restaurants, stuff like that. So Biggs was very like taken aback by the idea that like, and I was like, most people don't know what the hell a Trinidadian is. Most people have never even met a Trinidadian. But there's this distinct identity, depending on where you're from, but there's also an overlapping, right? Where it's like, it's not like Trinidadians don't listen to reggae, right? Just because they also listen to calypso and soca and stuff like that. What was your relationship to reggae specifically? When I was growing up, I know for sure something that was always striking to me was how much imagery you had. And we'll talk later about some of your shifts in faith throughout life and how you felt moved by Rastafarianism at a certain point in your life. But and that might have something to do with this. But I remember when I was young, before Madison existed, this was back in the Stone Age. You had all of these pictures of Bob Marley and images with lions and stuff like that. Was your relationship with reggae larger than Bob Marley, or was it mostly focused on Bob Marley?
No, it was larger than Bob, but we know Bob is the head of this thing. He and Tushman and all these people. But the Rastafarian now is not what it is today. Rastafarian now, most people think it's a style. It's not. It's very spiritual.
Yeah.
And it's 5. It's not just everybody is this. There's Bingi, there's Bobo Shanti, there's Orthodox Rasta. It's a bunch.
See, that's the thing people don't. Rastafarianism as a religion.
It is a religion.
It's not something people are familiar with. You're right. They do think it's a style. They think it's like if anyone who's Jamaican is Ras, we will colloquially refer to, as Chinese we'll call each other Ras, right? Jamaicans do the same thing, right? So the meaning of it is really the people who are culturally connected to it understand it most, right? But for you, have you always understood it as a faith, or was you first introduced to it through the music? Like culturally, when did Rastafarianism hit Trinidad?
Rastafarian hit Trinidad in about the 70s when Mother Earth and all of these people who Rastafarian was a different concept in their life that time. They're not using Babylon soap. They're not using this. They were smelling really bad. It was like Bush Rasta. They wasn't wearing Babylon clothes. They was wearing crocus bag, and it had a different stigma to it.
It was about being natural. It was about who you naturally was born as on this planet being enough. Right? Yeah.
And everything happened bad, it was a Rasta do it.
Yeah.
They were labeled.
Yeah.
And then it was wrong. They was the most humblest people at that time.
So something similar maybe that a lot of Muslims experience. Or maybe
people start to realize that they're targeting Rasta. A man will dress like a Rasta man and look like to do something. So he's a Rasta man. But when the true Rastafarian and them, these people live a quiet life. They read the Bible, they smoke the herbs, they don't cheat. They stick to one woman. The woman is the queen and the empress. And when she has a man, he's the king. It's a different type of lifestyle. No brawlishness and no loudness and no Rasta fighting woman and woman cursing. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was humble.
Yeah. Now it's just more kind of a social identity. Like
what happened now, Rasta has just become a style now, especially in the United States of America. Everybody think that because you have locks, you think you're a Rasta, you're not. You're carrying a hairstyle. Because it becomes so commercialized now. Yeah. But Rasta is from the heart.
Yeah. When you was Rasta, you was eating certain things. You wasn't eating certain things. You were my introduction as to the spiritual side of it, right? Where it was like, for me, that's where when I went out into the world, and this is the beauty of culture and cultural mixing in general, or just how America's a melting pot. You go to school and you go out into the world, and what you do is you bring your culture with you. You educate your peers. They educate you on some of the things that they go on with. Even like Madison has a different perspective. My perspective, as far as who my two biological parents is as a first generation American, right? Like those people, we don't have roots in the South. We don't have roots here and the third. Might be in the South of Trinidad or something like that, but we don't have much connection to this country outside of my connection, which is having first been born. And then Madison's a little bit different. Well, we were raised by the same man who we both call dad, but it was her biological father who has roots in the South in America and stuff like that. And so a lot of that is a part of her cultural identity too. So she could relate with her peers on that level, but then she also brought this side of helping to educate her peers on what Trinidadian culture was like and what the small things and the quirks and the proclivities that you get from your respective side. And that was a cool thing for me that I was able to kind of take with me, is like to educate people on the spiritual side of like Rastafarianism and stuff like that. And it encouraged me to definitely do more work and research and understanding what it was. And like I said, we will talk about the role of spirituality has played in your life. Has it always been? I know that Mom's upbringing was very...
We was raised in a Christian home.
Yes.
We know Christ from children. When we were small, we could tell you the whole Bible from here as children. We had Bible studies in our home 3 times a week. Everybody had the part to say when that time come. My father was a very strict man when coming to religion. And he ruled with an iron fist. He was the tough one. My mother was the matriarch to make sure everybody stand in line and do the right thing. But he ruled with an iron fist. So it's God or nothing.
Yeah.
You can't live underneath my roof if you don't be here a certain time for Bible study or something. He was never too grown for the man. He didn't care. You could have kids. If you say come in his house 7 o'clock, you better be inside 7 o'clock. Yep.
And you guys all follow that rule. But where did you find time to make all this trouble?
Well,
living under a roof like that.
Fighting.
You
talk, I don't like how you talk, I had to think.
So you was whipping ass on the streets and then you'd be home by 7?
For Bible study.
Yeah, I have been fighting from school. I was very bad in school.
Was your father understanding of that as you have to defend yourself, or was your father did he not like that?
My father didn't know I was fighting on the street.
They wasn't calling home back then?
No, what are they calling? We didn't have phones, we didn't have nothing back then.
Damn.
Unless the principal sent out direct message to you to tell your mother come to school.
Okay.
My father was not wrong for that. My father didn't care about those things. My mother is the one.
Okay.
She did everything. She kept the family in line whilst he run the streets and things like that. She's the one was doing everything.
Yeah. So things definitely change generation to generation, right? Where like I would say like for me personally, I wouldn't hit my kids, right? But at the same time, Madison and I have experience with physical discipline, right? I don't know how Madison feels, right? But I know Mom couldn't escape it from you and Seko and Marjorie and all of them. But was that something? I feel like every generation back in our family is more of a looming specter, right? Like in the sense of how often were you afraid that you might be disciplined? How much did that keep you in line?
Never. I didn't care. I didn't care. I know I'm going to get in trouble and that's it. I do what I had to do.
See, that's kind of a theory I have, though. And a theory that I have is that people like to say that, like, getting licks, which is an ass whooping, right? But people like to theorize that kind of keeps you on a straight and narrow. But I don't think so. I think you're either going to do good or you're going to not. But most of the people I know that's locked up got their ass whipped. Just like a lot of the people I know that's not locked up got their ass whipped. I just think it's something that you experience and you internalize it.
Attitude, your own demeanor, your own thinking, your own. I don't care. If out of 10 trying, I get the most beaten. What are you gonna do for me? You want to beat me? You beat me. I do what I had to do. I didn't care. I just didn't care. And I was the one who defend the family until up to now. You don't mess around my family because of me. Everybody would say because only this, because only know that Mona will come out and this and that. Nobody never mess around.
Is that something that made you feel good? Did you take pride in it? Or for you, was it just who you were? It was how you were going to be? You didn't necessarily look at it as your duty or something that made you feel proud to do.
I was never proud of it. It was just in me.
Yeah.
You react, I react. You play stupid game with me, you win stupid prizes. That's all.
That's funny. Play stupid games, play stupid prizes. One of my favorite phrases. But I've never heard you say it until now.
I remember a man came to beat my father in his house, the other time. And, it's mostly girls. We surround him. He deceased now, Mr. Eugene. And he thinking everybody.
Are y'all the reason he's deceased?
No.
Oh, okay. That was kind of scary the way you said that.
No. He lived a long time and do eat. But I lived the crowd and I went for my pick because you can't come in my yard to fight with my father. But my father wasn't no pushover. But I will leave there and I will go and I'll get my thing and I'll come back and I'll get you out of the yard because I'll stick you. That's what I did.
Now, you and Mom have a very, very close relationship.
Yeah.
You and Mom have been close as long as I can remember, as long as Madison can remember. But it doesn't feel necessarily like you had the same kind of rapport with your mom.
No.
Like, it feels like in your time, adults was for adulting, and you was always their kid, and so you always had, it was always the social hierarchy.
Yeah.
You and Mom, it feels like, have become good friends, and it feels like that's rewarding for you.
Yeah,
I know it's rewarding for her to know your daughter.
As a teenager, so she become a friend.
Yeah, to know your daughter in that way, though, that say your mom would never know you in that way.
No,
right? The way you know your daughter are like that must be something that you're so grateful for because it's probably a side of the mother-daughter relationship you didn't know could exist.
No, we never had that. My mother didn't have time to have that. My mother was a very frustrated woman.
Yeah,
with 10 children, with no help, and my father was not like. there for us, as I could say. She's the one was there for us. School and everything. Nobody didn't know him because he didn't care. It's just who he was. But she didn't have no... I raised in a house where I never get a hug and a kiss from none of my parents.
Wow.
Nothing. Not no time.
Never got a hug and a kiss?
Never. None of us could safely say that. Never get a hug and a kiss. Or play with. Like how I would play with Madison. We never grew up like that. Because she was just left with all these children and to fend for us on her own. She didn't have a job. And I remember my mother walking around with a strap on her neck until we go to sleep.
What, a strap meaning what?
To get beat.
Oh,
Okay. Strap around her neck.
Oh, like your father had hit her? Oh, you mean?
My father used to hit my mother, but my mother used to walk with a strap for us.
Oh. Okay, I thought you meant like a sling or something.
No,
Okay.
no, like a belt, she put it, they call it a strap. You mess around and you feel the weight. So she, like, for instance, she might make something to eat for dinner time. I don't know what it was. If she called me first for my bread or whatever, the whole crew would start laughing, and she couldn't deal with that. It was so, but we just laughing because you get called for your bread first. And that woman couldn't handle that. I don't know, it used to drive she really
She
nuts.
did not like that y'all were laughing at her. Or did she just didn't like too much laughing?
We wasn't laughing at her, but we was just
kids. You being
stupid
kids. Yeah.
But she didn't like that. She used to say, well, stop it and stay quiet, and if you don't, you'll get something. And if she say to you, don't make me talk to you again, you know what's coming after that.
Madison, could you imagine that though? Could you imagine not having that level of affection between you and grandma and you and mom and just that level of companionship growing up? That means so much to American children. It means a lot to children in general, but we don't grow up with the idea that we're not supposed to have it. So it's something that I think Madison and I can't even imagine. And growing up, mom wasn't the most physically affectionate person ever. It wasn't like you couldn't go nowhere without a hug and a kiss, right? But like, it was always very much understood and expressed to us how much we were loved and cherished. And as we age, friendship is extended more and more. Like, obviously, before you hit a certain age, before you're actually legally an adult and everything, you're not best friends with your parent. You have a close relationship, but they're trying to guide you. They're trying to help you. They're trying to raise you. But as you get older, with our mom specifically, we see that door open, like an opportunity to be more of yourself and to learn more of yourself. And I think, could you imagine that, Madison? Could you imagine not having that?
No. It's like weird.
But have you spoken to grandma much about what her life was like, maybe before all this?
Mommy tells me all the stories. Like, it was just like, do this, do that. If you don't do this, you're gonna be...
You get beaten on vacation, you forget.
Yeah.
Who beat you?
I think it was beating out of me. I don't remember.
Who's being mad at me?
But
I think it was Seco, right? Your grandfather.
Yeah, I came back and I did not like those people. And I love them. I love them now. I loved them then. I did not like them though. I did not understand the concept of family being mean to you. They weren't nice people. Right?
We over here, all they call it abuse. We don't use that word. We don't know that word. We never use that word in Trinidad. Never. Himself, your mother or father beat you. We don't know about abuse. No, we don't know. We only know about these things here. That was the rod of correction. They correct you. I was raised where your mother friend could have beaten you in the street.
Yeah.
If you be disorderly, because we was raised by a community. If I disorderly in the street and my mother friend see me getting on a type of way I shouldn't, she could give me some slaps and say, go up the road and meet your mother. I dare not say anything. And bet your life before I meet my mother gate, it not this. I don't know why this on the street now, because if I say it, Malik beat me in the street, first thing she'll say, if you didn't do something, Malik couldn't beat you. And you don't want the person to come. So you're frightened now, you're going in there and you do nothing.
You don't want them to come and tell what you did.
Yes.
Because then you get it again.
Yes.
So how many children would you end up having?
How much when I end up having?
In
7.
7.
Yeah.
So mom comes from almost as big a family as you. But the
Yes.
difference between you and mom is the first.
She's the
Right?
first
So
child.
mom talks about a lot of the time helping to raise
Yes.
her younger siblings.
Yeah.
And I think...
Well, not her younger siblings, because her siblings never lived with her. She
Okay.
raised cousins.
There we go.
Yes, she never lived with none of her father kids.
Okay.
Because she's the first child for me and her dad.
Okay.
And she never lived with her father. But
Okay.
everybody was making children in my house.
Yeah.
So anytime you're a little bigger, it helps.
Okay. So when so Shamian, who that they don't have the same father.
No, they don't.
But
No.
did she help raise Shamian? Did she help? I
No.
know she helped a little bit with
Because
Kavan.
Shamian lived away from us, and then I had left the home young too and went.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out of there when I was like 17.
Mm.
Yes, I was living with Shamian's father at the time.
So would you say that you were, who would you say you? I know you would end up being the closest with mom, but who did you feel the most close to? Just that you either had to take care of the most, or that you were most present in their lives. Who saw you the most?
Makweda saw me the most, and the rest of kids saw me the most because I lived with them, but I left everybody at the same time
Oh, okay.
to come to America
Yeah.
to live. And when I left them, they were in one spot. My mother take over and raise them for me to come here. And then your mother, part of her journey, she left and went by her father's family. So that's how she ended up here.
Yeah, she doesn't talk about that.
She ended up here.
I think I don't know if Madison assumed, I think I always assumed she ended up here with you.
No, everybody thinks that she living in America way before me.
Really?
That lady living here since she's 16 years.
See, that's one thing. That's something that mom never talks to us about. I learned that recently, and it was a shock to me because I always assumed mom had been here recently when I was born, right?
No.
But she had me at about 21, and
Yes,
she had been
21.
here since she was 16.
Yeah.
So
She living here long.
yeah,
And a lot of people think she come with me or I here before. I met her here. She
Yeah.
came here a young girl.
and that's a common thread too. Is to see that common thread is that your father came to Trinidad at 14 on a boat. Mom comes to America at 16 on a plane, right?
Yeah.
But there is that shifting of everything you know, of the world that you live in, of the culture that you're partaking in, what you're digesting, everything changing at such a young formative age. Because there's a difference, right? Like, to the people that would hear our mom talk would still say she has an accent. Some people would say she has a strong one. Some people would not. But I've listened to my mom's accent change over the years. And
She could change.
Yeah.
She change up when she wants to.
yeah, but knowing that she's been here since 16,
Yes.
right? I just wonder how much changing she's gone through, and she's had a lot longer to absorb American
Yes.
culture than I.
And she
thought
still
would have.
chooses to talk Trinidadian, but she speaks a lot of American if she have to. I still have a thick Trinidadian accent. And at times people, like, if I go home, people would still say you could hear it a little bit. But they say you live in America for 20-something years, Gil, and you still sound the same way. It's not my culture. And I don't have to speak like an American. I already live here. That's enough. I mean, I will develop little twangs because I'm here.
Yeah.
And I do a prestigious job. So I know when I could talk. And I still don't go to the max. I still talk for them to understand me. But I keep my culture.
Yeah, what is important?
I'm not going to try to break code. Just to say, listen, she's American, she's a foreigner. No. I wouldn't do that. But for some reason, I wouldn't hear it. But if I talking to somebody else, because sometimes if I'm talking to the grandkids, they might say, Granny, you here? You here? You just say it. But I don't know I say it. Because, I'm not making any effort to sound like an American.
No.
Because I'm not an American.
Yeah.
I'm a Trinidadian by birth.
Yeah.
So me living in this country 20-something years doesn't make me speak like an American.
And that's interesting. Actually, you have a relationship with that whole concept as well too, right? You live with a few generations of your family, right? And you see that each. I think did your mom came at a similar age to my mom, right?
Yeah, so my mom came here when she was about 14, 15. So my mom has been here like quite a long time, but when you speak to my mom, she still has a very thick Spanish accent.
Yes.
And I don't think that's ever going away.
But not like your grandma, right?
No, my grandma has been here since maybe like the late 80s, early 90s, because she had came here first. But my grandma still speaks like very little English, enough to communicate, but very very small. Yes.
What do you think that cultural identity kind of through language? What have you kind of observed? What that kind of means to your family? Is her accent something that your mom considers a big part of her cultural identity? Is it something that she doesn't necessarily make an effort to act like she doesn't have one, right?
No, because my mom knows she has an accent and she doesn't have a problem with it because she doesn't notice it, if that makes sense. Like, if she's speaking, she sees that as her just speaking, but not really her having an accent or anything.
Yeah. And that's something that it's so unique how that happens, because we as first generations, we come and we kind of just assimilate in that way. Whereas like Madison doesn't have what anybody would consider a West Indian accent. I don't have one. Ashley doesn't, have what people would consider necessarily a Dominican accent. We speak like the neighborhoods we're from, right? She's from the Bronx. We're from Flatbush, Brooklyn. But that's something that's so unique and observable. And it's observable in cultures all over the place. It's observable in first generation Italians, Russians, whatever may have you. Those things are the things that they serve as the foundations, right? They keep us ruddered to our culture, to our heritage. Things like that make us different. And how people speak and how people choose to speak. Namely, because a word that you use, that grandma, that to me is like really indicative of you say you choose to continue to speak like a Trinidadian. On some level, it is a choice, right? Because some people work really, really hard to assimilate and change things. And they'll do speech therapy and they'll go take classes and stuff like that. But for you, it's not something that you've ever felt is necessary.
No.
And when Madison and I listen to you talk, we don't feel like we're listening to somebody talk with an accent. When Ashley hears her mom or grandma talk, she doesn't feel like she's speaking to somebody with an accent. Ashley speaks Spanish, right? And it's like, it's always interesting how those two parts of the consciousness interact with each other. Right? Where you have an identity as an American who was born in America or whatever have you, but you also have the identity that is passed down to you through your family. You have who you are with your grandmother, who you are with your mother, who you are with your siblings and friends who share the same cultural heritage. I just think that type of stuff is fascinating. But mom goes off to live with her dad and comes here at around the age of 16.
No, she never went and lived with her dad.
Okay.
She lived with her father, aunt.
Okay.
Yes.
She lived with that side of the family for a little
Tracy?
Yeah.
Tracy's mother.
And for you, were those people that you still considered good friends, good family? Were you still connected with them?
I was never connected with them.
Okay. So how did that come about? Her going to live with them?
Because they know that she was their family.
Okay.
And, they know late in life and they adopt liking her and stuff and things like that. And they were very nice to her. So she ended up with them for a while. And then the aunt husband had a very prestigious job where he get visas for everybody. And, they came here.
Huh.
But she didn't go back with them. They had a foundation home.
Yeah.
He was working for the airport at the time, and his wife had a good business where she was running and stuff like that.
Huh. And so when do you find out that she's going to be moving to America?
I find out that very kind of abrupt. And that was it.
Did it make you sad?
No. Because I have tough skin. And if somebody want to take a journey to make their life better, I would never barrier that. You have to remember we was raised in a tough home. Where tears wasn't like easy to come. We were raised tough, And remember, I make her very young. So I wasn't considered her mother at the time. My mother was considered her mother. You know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Because I was young. So my mother had all the say in her life, not me. From young.
Yeah.
Because I was a teenager. And she come like she was my mother own.
Oh,
You feel me?
Yeah.
So
like the people that knew, but anybody who didn't have to know just would figure that was one of your mother's children.
Well, I remember a time I had to get her a pair of sneakers and mommy said go to the school and get her to take her. And I was chased away by the principal.
What?
He said, you is not her mother. I know who her mother is. You can't come here and take nobody out of the school. And I will let her mother know. And I couldn't take her to buy the sneakers.
And then did the principal end up after that knowing that you were the mother and everything like that? And were you able to kind of do what you had to do about it?
Yeah. It's not like my mother was acting like she wants to be her mother.
No.
It was just
Assume.
natural because I was a teenager. She was raising her. She get everybody children into school. My mother, she was very active in her grandchildren life. So she was like everybody mother. She made decision for everybody. So she was on the committee board. I couldn't get her in school. I wasn't at age. My mother had to go and get her in school and do all these things. So they know her.
Yeah.
They didn't know me.
So when again, you say you were raised in a household that promoted having thick skin and everything like that. And so how long is mom living in America before you get your chance to come to America?
Oh, long years before me.
Like a decade?
Could you remember that you was in St. Martin as a baby?
No.
You spent 3 months with me there.
That's what I'm told.
Yes, you was there with me.
What were you doing in St. Martin?
I was working as a nurse.
Huh. So that's something that you started before you got here?
Yeah,
I
I've
didn't
been
know.
since in Trinidad. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But not this type of job.
Yeah. What brings the opportunity for you that you seize to come here? What makes it so that you want to come here?
Well, I was never a person to stay stagnated in one spot. I traveled. This is not the first thing for me. I traveled. I lived in St. Martin for 6 years with no family, no brother, no sister, no uncle. I just get up and journey there. I said if it worked out in 2 months, I stayed. If it don't, I return.
And this is incredible because this is the importance, I think, of other people hearing you tell your story, right? I'm noticing this common thread line of just our family never being afraid to go somewhere else. Your father coming here in a boat at 14.
Yeah.
My mother coming to this
16.
country at 16. You going to live in St. Martin for 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, was that promoted or was it just understood? West Indians obviously have a culture of migration, right?
My thing is, if something ain't working out there and you have an opportunity, try something else.
Yeah.
I had nobody there. I had a friend and I said, I want to go to Tortola. I was to go to Tortola. And he said, girl, where you going to go to Tortola for when you could go St. Martin? I have a friend I know there named Christine.
Yeah.
So when you get there, ask for Christine. So I did just that. I stayed in a guest house for like 3 days and then I asked for Christine.
Yeah.
There she was. And she said, you could come and live with me. And she was very nice. She would go to work. I would cook and clean and stuff and things.
Yeah.
And then she said it have an apartment in the yard. If I wanted, she could get it for me. Nice big apartment. So I say yes. And then when she take me to the lady says, the lady name was Helen Libier. They're from Puerto Rico, they're Puerto Ricans. But they had business in it. And she said, well, you could work for me for the rent.
Yeah.
So I was working for her, but I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah, you should.
But I will eat by Christine.
Yeah.
Christine is also from Grenada.
Okay.
I didn't know her before. Right? And I eventually get the apartment. And me and Christine was living in the same yard. And she was very dear to me. We never had a problem or nothing. And then, whilst I was working for this lady, I put in my paper in that place to get the job. And I never get the job till 2 years. But I keep working for no salary.
Yeah.
Because I could eat by Christine.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I work until I work myself. And then one day they called me and there I was. I stayed there for like 4 years. And then they had this bad hurricane named Louise tear up the whole of St. Martin. And then that is when I left.
And you leave to go?
To Trinidad.
To Trinidad. And how long do you spend there before you come to the United States?
Like a year and a half.
Okay. When you come here, do you and mom immediately reconnect?
Yes, I was always in touch with your mother. She always called. From the minute she realized she was pregnant, she called Trinidad and called me.
Okay.
No, we was always in touch.
Okay.
It's not like she was just in America and we had no communication now.
So you would talk very often?
Yeah, your mother came to St. Martin too.
And then I obviously was there too and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but you wasn't with your mother. Your mother, I think we collect you off the flight.
Okay.
Air hostess brought you.
Okay.
Because nobody didn't bring you. As far as I could remember.
Which is also something that is so generation specific, right? It was like nowadays, like how old was I?
Maybe 7 to 8 months.
I was on a flight alone.
I'm not sure, but I didn't collect you, and your mother didn't bring you.
All right.
If anybody to bring you, it's her aunt.
What the hell is going on? So y'all
She's the only person could say how you get there.
Y'all just posted me airmail.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Auntie Carol brought you or if I collect you on the flight. Because you could do that. You could pay for that service.
But how do you know I'm Malik? How do you know the right person got off that
because
plane?
Because you're my grandchild. I see a picture as I know you. I saw you.
Good Lord.
But I got only quid I can answer if Carol bring you.
I'm
but
some
you
guy
spend
named
like 3 months.
Gerald. I don't even know. Who am I? What if I'm not Malik?
Was Malik.
What the hell is going on? 8 months? You put an
Some months you was not.
baby.
You was barely doing anything. I wanted you so bad to spend time with me, and you came. And
That you just put me on an Amazon truck?
I was living with this Rasta guy. He treated you wonderful. You was like, you know what was your name in St. Martin?
What?
We called you Tyson.
Tyson?
Because you was so big.
Oh my.
You was strong like a baby. You was. And your name was Tyson. They said, oh my God, this baby like Tyson.
I got all those names, man. I was King County. They was calling me Shaq. Now I'm Tyson.
You came back here with in stroller and all kind of thing, Nike, all kind of thing.
My first memory of being
to dress you up.
My first memory of being over there and stuff is being in Trinidad, right? But
I took you to Trinidad.
Yeah, and I remember coming home and having like mosquito bites so bad.
Oh,
like,
any foreigner goes there.
The Velcro.
Yeah.
The Velcro from my pants, because I don't know if they still make kiss pants with Velcro.
Yes, sometimes, yeah.
The Velcro from my pants was ripping my skin. How bad the mosquitoes had ate me up down there. And it's funny, as a child, I didn't have a lot of positive experiences with Trinidad.
You used to call chickens monkeys. Right? What? I see the monkey. Your uncle, which is Quita father, brother, had loved you so much every single day. Uncle Tony used to come for you. You can't remember that? If you carry you all along to the road, he used to carry you down, and that's how you would say you see the monkey in the field. It was chickens.
I mean, were there monkeys in Trinidad?
No, it's chickens. You never see a chicken.
So I thought chickens were monkeys. It's hilarious because I developed such a fascination with animals as I got older. Where it's like I can't even imagine being at a point in my life where I mistook a monkey for a chicken.
You every day want to go down to see these monkeys. Uncle Tony used to come and carry you down there by the shops.
People used to also tell me all type of stupidness though. Like somebody told me there was alligators in the lake.
No, it wasn't in the lake, the river, the dirty. Yeah. Remember, it was a bridge, if you can remember it over there. Yeah.
There wasn't alligators in there, was it?
I never see one, but...
So why was that? Why was people telling me there was alligators?
Since I small, they're saying that because the mangrove was across the street.
Okay.
So they could have come up from the mangrove into there, but I never see one.
I don't know. I gotta Google if there's... Because I don't know that they live there. But maybe they do. Because they do live in areas where there are mangroves and swamp areas.
Children already.
I would imagine.
Yeah, they would have killed children already.
I would imagine. But also, I was also kept like kind of under lock and key. Like it was very strict, right?
Yeah, you can go. You remember, you was a foreigner. You can go. No, you don't know nothing.
I remember when it was like raining and all my cousins would get their bikes and like make the bikes glide on the rain.
And everybody did love you because you was a Yankee baby.
Yeah, but
everybody used to come to see you. Everybody used to... You know it is when you're a foreigner and you're a baby and they never meet a foreigner, you know.
And that's also something that I think people in West Indian communities have a special relationship with. The term Yankee. Yeah. Right? Like
I don't know.
Which is like the Caribbean is just the old world, right? Like we're like the term Yankee for an American is hilarious. That's like Civil War.
She went to Trinidad recently. She could tell you how the place is. You don't know now because you never go back.
But being called a Yankee, it was something that was always so like, I don't know, it stung. Madison,
it does.
Sting you?
Yeah, it was always like that. A Yankee always stung.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have nothing to do. It wouldn't have shit to do respectfully with what the hell we was talking about. It would just be like, well, you's a Yankee. What the f does that mean?
For us, we don't mean it in a bad term. A Yankee is an American. We always think an American is a Yankee. So we call all the Yankees.
Which is like specifically.
Okay, if I come here and I live in and I go back home and I spit in a set American, they call me a freshwater Yankee.
A freshwater Yankee.
Yeah. Because I'm pretending. So we call here freshwater Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
I come up here for 2-3 years and I'm going back home and they could barely understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to be so recognized as an Yankee.
It's like when people like from up here move to the south and they come back with this thick ass accent. And it's like, you know, it's like, okay.
So, yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But so you come here after spending a significant amount of time in St. Martin, right?
Yeah.
How old are you when you come here?
40.
40.
I'm
so
63 now.
many of your kids are grown at that point, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
No, they wasn't grown. When I came here, Patrina was 12.
Okay.
Yeah, Boy B was still small.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, as your own... Now, was your relationship with your kids, was there always a special relationship with mom, or was that allowed to grow once you guys were both here?
No, it was always special. I never had problems with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because as I say, my mother raised her more than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mother didn't used to play around. You have a child, you gotta go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Try work. And make sure that she has what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I was very young, so when I was ready to leave home, thinking I was grown, my mother said, "You're not going with her."
Mm-hmm.
So she had to stay back.
Yeah.
Because she was actually in charge.
And how was that for you? When like you intended to take mom and you were told no?
Yeah, I want to take my child.
And did you have a plan, or you just felt like you needed to go?
No, I was going to live with Shami and Dad.
Okay.
But my mother said no, you could go, but she's not going.
And do you think that was a good decision?
Yes.
Do you think it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was in a good home, and my mother did love her a lot.
And you didn't agree with it at the time, obviously, because you wanted to take your child with you.
You can't argue those people.
Okay.
There's no winning.
Okay.
No. You want them to tell me to come back in the place?
Nah, that's not.
No, they would do that. Oh, they would do that.
And they would stand by it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So no. There was no restrictions on me, like I can't see her visit. No, it wasn't like that. My mother was just a mother that didn't give birth to her.
Yeah.
Which was understood.
Yeah. So when you come here, how long does it take for you and mom to start getting to where you are now? Where I think for as long as Madison and I have known the both of you, you've had this really supportive friendship that is grown.
No, it didn't take no time. I came and lived with her.
Mm-hmm.
When you were small, you can't remember?
Mm-mm.
I used to sleep in the living room. It had no furniture because she wanted you to be able to play.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't want you running in and crashing into nothing.
Mm.
You can't remember? I used to take you to school.
I remember that. I don't remember you living with us. I think some of my earliest memories is Margie coming. I remember Margie coming and hanging her wig on the doorknob.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny.
I live here.
She was bald?
No, she just was wearing, not bald, but she didn't have like plenty hair, like, you know.
Yeah. She got, what do you call it?
Alopecia?
Yeah.
But that was my first time experiencing a wig when I was like a kid. I was like 5, 6. So it was like she would come and then like she'd be in the room and my bed was in the room too. Yeah. And she would hang her wig on the doorknob.
She'd take off her wig and put your clothes in the night.
Yeah.
Right. But I came here when you was about 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
You can't remember I used to have to take you to school in that school you went to up on First Avenue and St. Mark's or whatever.
Yeah, that was St. Damn, what is that? Snyder.
Yeah.
Oh no, now you're talking about
No, you talk when you was in the gifted program
Manhattan.
since you're small.
Yeah.
So I used to take you when I wasn't working.
Yeah, and even younger, I remember even younger when I was on Snyder. I remember, being very excited when my grandma would come to get me and stuff like that.
Sometimes Keith used to come and pick you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Keith, who? Madison never met Keith in his prime. Madison never met Keith when he was a cool dude, man. Yeah. Keith bought me, and Ashley would know how much this means because, she knows me. And Madison would know how much this means too because she knows me. But Keith bought me my first ever Dragon Ball Z video game.
Yeah.
That was like
Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1. Yeah. This was like 2002 maybe. I just got my PlayStation 2. I did not have a memory card, so I used to leave it on all night so I could beat the game at least so I could know how it ends. And then it was just, but Keith was one of the first older males in my life that had like shared interests and kind of, as a young man or even perhaps I can't speak to it, but I'm sure young women feel the same way just about whatever interests them, right? These older people who are just cool, right? They're just cool and they show you that you can get to adult age and still like the stuff that you like now, right? Where it's like he just was super supportive of everything.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, and life is tough. He struggled with mental illness and stuff like that, and he's having a really tough time with it.
Yeah.
And even that is something that America, as we come to America, because a big theme of this episode is how families change and how experiencing different cultures change everything. What would have been made of Keith's condition if we were in the islands, if we was in Trinidad, if we was in somewhere else? Like,
nothing would have been made of his condition. He would be eaten from the trash can and nobody would know. It's just an island thing.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if you start struggling with mental illness, it wasn't recognized the way it is recognized here. The first thing they would say if you do something funny is like, is the fool you playing, you know? Nobody, we didn't know.
Playing the ass, playing the monkey.
And if you continue that, I hit you one piece of wood up. And that time, you know, they never take it. They still so.
Yeah, they don't take it seriously.
No. So Keith would have been nothing long.
Yeah, whereas like here, we care a lot for him. And he can, you know, even when he's not in his right mind to receive the proper care from us, we extend it, stuff like that.
By the way, we see him yesterday.
Really? What kind of shape was he in?
Very sad.
Damn. But you had a lot of friends like that as growing up. And speaking of you talking about growing up in life being a community and everything like that, you had a lot of friends, especially like older male friends who took a liking to me and helped me with a lot in life. I remember one, I got really upset. He bought me a gift and I snuck and opened it early. I never felt so. I don't even know if he ever made up with me, but he was this was something that I don't even remember who he was. He was bald.
My friend?
He was bald. He was like bald and like brown skin. And he was like so nice to me, and then he bought me
up
like
here?
Yeah. Maybe. I might be remembering where it was wrong. It might have been somewhere else.
Yeah.
But he was so nice, and he bought me these things, and I snuck and I opened them. I think you gave them to me early because I convinced you to give them to me, but he had said I couldn't open them till tomorrow. And he found out I opened them, and he was just so mad. And I remember as a kid, like, he wasn't, like, yelling at me. He was just disappointed. And he didn't want to see me anymore that day. And that broke my heart.
Wrong skin with bald head.
I've thought about this my entire life. How heartbroken I was to be disappointed that man like that.
I'm sorry.
I've never forgiven myself. Why are you sorry? Boy? It's me. I messed up. He asked me not to open that. You know what? Sometimes I used to spend the night in his room. He had like a Chucky doll. I was terrified of his room.
Up here?
I don't know where it was. I wasn't going outside.
You sure it's me?
Maybe not. Maybe I was kidnapped. A lot of my memories, I don't listen. I don't know where these things come from.
You and his two boyfriend I had in America is Keaton.
No, I don't think he was that to you. You guys, I think y'all were just roommates. You had like a separate. Y'all would live in like separate.
Living where?
I don't remember.
It coming to me now. You know who is that?
Who?
He was he had a down south kind of accent.
Maybe.
Carl.
I think so.
Yes.
I think
Carl was brown skin with a bald head.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about?
What?
I used to live over in Linden.
Yeah.
And you used to come.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Wiles was his name.
Okay.
Yes, from the time you say roommate, it ring a bell.
Yeah.
Because when I was living there, we was roommates. The people was renting out rooms.
Okay.
And I had the biggest room to the front as you come in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Carl. So yes. Yes, and Carl had a kind of demeanor about him. Will get upset.
Yeah.
Yes. He originally from North Carolina.
Yeah. I remember it was never close again after I violated his trust like that. And it hurt me so bad.
You ain't got nothing to say. Some question for this.
Madison is just dumbfounded. Yeah. She's taking in so much information.
I didn't even know like half of this until right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is.
But Madison, you have a very strong relationship with your grandma. Right?
Yeah.
Have you always felt that way? Has it always been that way?
Yeah.
Because you got to spend a lot more time with grandma than I did.
Yeah, I used to literally like live here instead of downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember any people though. I just know Keith and Mr. Lopez.
No, by the time you was around, grandma was situated, had her own thing, her own flow. Wasn't too many people in and out. But you used to throw. Because we're gonna get connected into like when you became like a heavy duty Rastafarian and everything like that, but a little bit before, maybe during that process, you used to throw the baddest parties anyone has ever thrown.
Trust
right?
me, the neighbors didn't
The
really
whole
appreciate
building
me.
used to be inside
I
of
have
this
seen-
apartment.
I've seen just like the best parties I've ever seen a person throw have been the parties that my grandma threw in this apartment growing up. When did you become such an entertainer of people?
I was always like that. I was always the light of the party. And you should have seen when I was living in St. Martin. Oh my
You would go out and
God.
party a lot?
I bring the straight crooked.
What?
Everybody was by my house drinking. People who never drink in their life was drinking.
What y'all was drinking?
St. Martin had the best set of liquor.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days it was cheap. St. Martin used guilders.
What's that?
That's the money.
Okay.
So if in those days, if I have 1,000 guilders,
Mhm.
that was $527 US.
Oh.
Liquor was dog cheap.
Hmm.
You could have drink the best. I used to sleep with a bottle of champagne by my bed every night.
What?
Pink lady.
What the hell you mean you used to sleep with a bottle of champagne?
Every night.
What was that for?
Cold and nice.
It just throughout the night you would just drink it, or was it for
Oh,
the wake
before
up?
bed.
Or? Good Lord.
And listen, the Rasta man that I was living with, I met him. The man never drink, he never smoke. He still don't smoke. He become a drinker with me.
Good Lord.
Everybody was there. That was the part.
Mm-hmm.
That was the spot.
So when you come here, how many people how are you making a bunch of new friends? Do you have friends that you knew back then who ended up here too? Like,
Yeah,
who
new
becomes
friends.
this crowd that you start to hang out with? Because this apartment was always packed. These
know.
parties was never
It was still
empty.
morning.
Oh my
But he go home,
God.
actually, I don't even have a clue.
Good Lord.
Food.
How
drinks.
did you not get kicked out of this
I
building?
told you. That lady across the front did hate me bad.
Did y'all ever make up?
Yeah,
Because you stopped?
because I stopped.
I mean, at least she was forgiven.
Yes, she was.
Good Lord.
She didn't pass me anyway now.
Oh Lord.
And
Wow.
her mother couldn't stand me too, but now. Nah. The
But-
mother came and passed away the other day anyway.
Oh God, Lord, that's tough.
No, this house. I don't know these people. They just become a friend. And party.
So when do you adopt Rastafarianism? When do you?
Oh, I adopted Rastafarian years before I come here. I was a 12 tribe.
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock I go on until next 6 o'clock evening. I was very into Rastafarian business.
Mhm.
As you know, you see the kind of music used to play here and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was very, because Rastafari is an order, it keep you straight, it keep
Yeah.
you nice.
Are you allowed to drink? At least in Orthodox
12 tribes
Rastafarianism.
only drink wine.
Okay. So how were you getting away with drinking all that other stuff?
Because when I came here, I wasn't really doing 12 tribe. I wasn't so,
So before you would only drink wine.
yeah.
Would you is now something that I've always, because I always casually would say that to most Rastafarians, herb is like a sacrament, right?
Yes.
But was it a sacrament that you partook in?
I never smoked in my life.
What made you decide not to, being that you were practicing a religion where smoking was a sacrament, right? Well, and most rosters would tell you you don't have to. They just might not understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's weird
But you
when
don't
he's
have
a
to.
Rastafarian and don't smoke
Yeah.
because it's part of it.
Yeah.
But it was just never part of me.
Mhm.
And another thing, I was Rastafarian and I never believed that Selassie was God.
That's what I was gonna ask too, because
I
you're
believe in the most high powers.
yeah.
So we used to have a problem with that.
So how would these arguments go? Because this is something that is so unique. Is that if you're not familiar with the Rastafarian religion, one of the major tenets of it, one of the biggest things about it is that there was an Ethiopian emperor during the time that Rastafarianism was exactly conceived. And this is the mortal man, flesh and blood that we have seen in our lifetimes, right? People were familiar with. And he was pro-black. He came about, now I don't want to say in era, I'm not 100% accurate on dates, but he came about in the same spirit and vein of a Marcus Garvey, of it is,
Yes,
of it is.
yes,
He was a
Marcus
very,
Garvey, all of them was-
it was some Pan-Africanism. It fell under that umbrella where Africans across the globe should unite and this and that and the third. And Rastafarianism is very much a religion by the black man, for the black man in that way, where everybody can come to participate in it. It has become a wider culture.
Yes.
But it was that. It was a religion of black acceptance. Of, you don't have to cut your hair. You don't have to brush and manage your beard. You don't have to do this and do that. You're using natural soap, natural this, natural this. Who you are as a black man or woman on this planet is enough.
Yes.
Anything else that you do to yourself is not God. That's not godly. That's not what was intended. That's not how you was made. If you was made in God's image and you're perfect, then you shouldn't have to alter yourself, right? No. But you never accept, because that's one of the things is they believe that the second coming of the Messiah was Haile Selassie.
No, Haile Selassie was an earthly ruler. He was born a king.
Yeah.
He was never God. And he would never be God. I will get fired down from this podcast for saying that. No man see God and live. No man could see God in the flesh. Haile Selassie was a human being just as me and you. The man was born an earthly king. He was an earthly ruler in Ethiopia.
Did you believe he was a prophet, at least? Because we don't think of Abraham as a god. We don't think of Moses as a god.
They call him a prophet, but I don't have no proof on he's a prophet. I never hear him prophesy.
Oh, okay.
So I can't say he's a prophet. Right? And anytime you use a prophet, you have to prophesy for the people because God gave you message. You become a messenger of Christ if you is a prophet. If I raise up and call myself a prophet, I can prophesy. And a prophet could only prophesy when God speak to them.
Yeah.
A prophet is not allowed to just get up and speak. You have to wait for the voice of God.
Yeah.
I don't know Haile Selassie to be a man of God. He was a man of himself. He had powers. He could have ruled. And, you know, he had some link to Jamaica where he and the Rastafarian and them was good. As you can see, he wear the colors of the 12th tribe. Ice green and gold.
Yeah.
Right? He and the Queen was also linked because the riches.
The Queen of England.
Yeah. Right? But besides that, a Rasta man can convince me that Selassie is God. Everybody had their own beliefs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue with a Rasta man because you know them.
Yeah.
You know them. It's a certain tribe speak like that.
Yeah.
So you know them. As they start with that, you just don't encourage the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it could get very aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's their religion. That's what they believe in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they could get aggressive. But every man thinketh, because the Bible tells you, every man to his own accord. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that I am God. So nobody can instill nothing in me. My Rastafarian ways and nothing to do with Selassie. Selassie don't know me. My Rastafarian ways have to do with God and my upbringings.
Yeah.
You understand? So when them going on with these things, I just stay humble because I don't want. Two things my father say. You don't argue politics and you don't argue Bible. And you see, my father, in his own rights, he was a philosopher. Because this man, he had something about him. He says something, it has come to pass. And one thing my father always said, and I keep this here, if you don't like me, you cannot like my children. And it's only logical. Because the Bible tells you, he say, I'm the true vine and my father is the husbandman. If for instance, everybody just talk and the Jews don't believe in Jesus. Nobody ain't gonna fight them down. Because, you know. But I know that they have a Jesus. Because if God created me and gave me children, why he who is the creator of heaven and earth can't have a child? You feel me?
Yeah.
So when, like, for instance, a Bobo Shanti operates like a Jew. A Bobo Shanti, it could be 110 degrees. The sleeve is here. And the button up here. And they wear the turban. You will never see the woman wrist or the woman ankle. These people is very, very organized people. And when they go in for sundown, the woman, they won't be in the same place with the men in. They're separated from them. So when people up here just have these things, they don't know anything about Rastafarian. It become a hairstyle.
And Bobo Shanti is what? That is like
Bobo
Orthodox?
you know, see Sizzler, he's a Bobo. He's wearing a turban.
I love Sizzler.
You see Anthony B? Boo-boo.
And so I don't know, because musical artists just be bad and
Men like Burning Spear. Marley wasn't of no religion. You understand?
What do you mean when you say Marley wasn't of no religion?
He was a man. He was like a little prophet in his own right. He do his own thing.
Yeah.
And if he was alive today to talk, you would have never hear him talking about he's a this. It's a Orthodox Rasta, it's a Bushant, it's a all kind of Rastas. It's a bingy man, they don't eat salt at all.
And what do you think that Marley would have referred to himself as, you say?
A prophet.
A prophet? You think that he felt himself he was a prophet?
Yeah.
Or do you think that just the way he behaved, the way he thought about life and everything was prophet, was what made him a prophet?
Yeah. The way he see life and view life. Many things, the man is in his grave and many things he prophesied come to pass when he dead. He and Tush man. Yeah. Them is the first set of people saying legalize the herbs. And they will advertise it. And the government making money off of it now, they can tax it. You see what's going on?
Yeah.
Be much man in jail for that. And if a man in jail for marijuana, this is not we talking hard drugs, talking bush. Free them. Because now all you're making tax and dollars off.
But Marley did believe Haile Selassie was.
He did believe in Haile Selassie,
Yeah.
Huh. Strongly believe Marcus Garvey was a powerful ruler too. Yeah. Did believe in Haile Selassie.
And I didn't even know certain stuff. Like, I didn't know that there's a difference in I just thought Sizzler did like wearing stuff on his head. I didn't. Right? I know that when you're taking care of your dreads and you don't want them dry out, you're going to put something on your head anyway.
Not when a man turban up. You don't just turban up, you take a vow.
Oh.
Yeah. You take your Nazarene vow when you turban up, you don't just turban up.
Now, does he like follow the principles the way he should? Does his wife and everything?
Who is he like?
No, Sizzler. Does he?
Sizzler don't have a wife. You know, he different. He don't have a wife that I know of.
Oh, a bachelor. How does his spirituality factor into that? How does it look on being a bachelor? Is it his duty to find a wife?
People don't really look at that. No, people don't really look at that. You know, a man don't always have to have a wife, but that doesn't mean that he have to live like a dog. But no, man always have to have a wife. You know, these people live their life as entertainers, moving around.
Yeah. So after all I think that as we come to kind of towards the ending segment of this podcast, right? I think there's some questions that I would have for you that perhaps people would be interested in hearing a person ask of the people in their family, of their grandparent, for you who has very much just been the matriarch of this family. I think that what we get from you, right? Our backbone, our some of our personality traits that we don't necessarily know where they come from. I think that Madison and I are constantly discovering ourselves through you, and seeing where we got certain things, because we know what we got from mom. We're around mom all the time, right? Yes. Sometimes you're gone for a while, or sometimes we don't see you so much, and so we have this. We're still discovering new things about you all the time. You're much more open than mom is, right? Mom is private. You have to observe her and know her and love her to understand her. You'll tell people who you are, right? Mom is very private and inward, so I think that we always learn those things from you, and some things that probably are important to us that we kind of look to you for guidance on anyway, but that we necessarily haven't asked you straight up is like, in all this time that you've been here, everything that you've experienced, all the knowledge that you've accumulated, what to you is happiness?
What for me is happiness? Family. You. Your sister, your mother, most of all. Even though she's grown. If she's hurting, I'm hurting. Family. I love family. I will protect my children with everything. I don't care. Your children is never too old for you. And you must always be there for your kids, no matter what they're going through. Because your parents is somebody that you always look forward to for protection. And for support. So I don't care what my children going through, I always there. I'm living here. I have grown children. I'm not supposed to do nothing for none of my kids. And just for my kids to be happy, I pay the rent. I don't want my grandchildren on the streets. So if your children having problems and they cannot come to you as a parent, the loss in the system and this world, who they going to go to? Nobody want to be bothered. I could do 1,000,000 wrong and God will still forgive me. Who am I if my children have it? Everybody in this life have a different struggle, all of us struggle. You know, like, for instance, people just feel like it's the strongest thing in the world and nothing to bother me. Yes, I do get bothered. But I don't stay in one spot too long with my problems. I gotta get up and get out of there and find a solution to make it work for me. And once you doing things not for the public, you just find solution. The public is a problem. Anytime you going through something and you have to study, what John go say about me, boy? What Jane go say about me, boy? I feeling so frustrated because when people hear this now, you have to work your own thing. I didn't grow up without problems. I've been through a lot. The things that I go through as a young girl today at 63, a lot of people couldn't deal with it. I wasn't raised in a happy-go-lucky home. You had to fend from an early age too. You had to want to survive.
Yeah.
I leave my country and come here. I didn't leave my country to come here to depend on her, to say, you're looking at man to give you this or that. I came here to work. My first job I get here, no family, no friend, nobody give it to me. There was a paper named the Irish Echo and I look in there and get myself a job.
The Irish Echo.
Yes.
That was a paper in
Yes,
in,
you could have
in
looked
New
in
York
there and
City?
get work. Ask any elderly person about that.
Huh, the Irish Echo.
Yes.
You
that was
learn
the name of it.
something new every day.
And I look in there and I get a job in Long Island, Michael Lane, for $250 a week.
How were you getting out to Long Island? The railroad?
Yeah.
In what year? The 90s was this?
No. The 20s. I came here 2021 or something like that.
No, like to America I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I came here like that.
You talking about 2001?
2001. Yeah.
2001,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I came here.
So there was a newspaper, because
Yeah.
that's interesting
The
that you
paper
just
was
things
named
you
the
don't...
Irish Echo.
Yeah, I've
You could
never
have
seen
get
or heard of the Irish
apartments, you
Echo.
could have get jobs, you could have get anything. Because one thing I learned, my destiny don't depend on nobody. It depends on God and me. And when I came out here, I didn't came out here with no expectation. I came out here to survive. I left my kids with my mother and I had to survive. I didn't come here to sit on nobody's hand. I get a paper named the Irish Echo and I was working in Long Island with Nancy and her husband. And I worked there until I built myself to where I am today.
Okay.
I never depend on nobody when I come here. Never. I wear $5 shoes and $3 top and thing. I had my children back home to look after. And I didn't put nothing down here to say I could come here and get a dream job. No. I never shed a tear. Sometimes I walk in and I will look into a window case, something for $5 or $10 and I couldn't afford it. It never bothered me. I never do anything illegal or slept with anybody to get a shoe or shit. That was never me. Still in me because you see I build my own foundation here.
Yeah.
I came here and I came here to work and make something of myself. I mightn't be the greatest, but I'm very proud of the things that I achieve. And I thank America every day because America have jobs for everybody who wants to work. There is jobs to fix coffee table. Do you know that? I could come into your home and design your coffee table and charge you $300 for that and you would pay. There is job to fix people's closet. My job, I promote life. I do post-care. The most difficult time in a woman's life is when she gives birth.
Postnatal, you mean,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I do.
Yeah.
I have a tough job. I get up every 2 hours. I have to deal with postpartum mothers.
Yeah.
You know, so my job tough. I build myself to where I am.
Now, even a term like postpartum, right? Is that a term that you heard in Trinidad?
No, we didn't know nothing about that. Oh, but it had it. Because I could clearly remember some people give birth and change, and everybody would say, oh, like you don't want to, you vex, you make a child, you see how they take it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we wasn't educated and this kind of a thing. You will see people crying all the time, and you know, people getting mad at you because you're crying. They didn't have the knowledge to know that these things happen after birth.
Yeah.
So when sometimes we just fall, I fall many times. Many times. Oh, and I was living here with somebody for 19 years, and he's not here now. He betrayed me and he left. But that doesn't mean I have to stay in that spot. And he no. Everybody know what they want in life.
Yeah.
And if I is not your destiny, I will never be with your destiny. This life is a train, is a stop for everybody.
Yeah.
You might get on the train in Utica and you come off in Pelham Parkway. I might get on in the train in Utica and I drop off in Church Avenue. She might get on the train with me in Church Avenue and stay with me on the train until we reach our journey. When we think in life that we have disappointments, we don't. God is just enlightening you for another pathway. Your journey ends with me. That's it. There's nothing I could do to make you continue on that. Because that's how it's designed.
Yeah.
You was not to go the whole 50 with me.
Yeah.
Because God knows who is at the end waiting to finish my journey. So I wouldn't sit and cry in no disaster. I've been through a lot as a young girl. I bury so much of my kids. That's not easy to do. That's not an easy thing to do. From the time you're healing from one, you know, a next one. It's not an easy thing, and it's not like I had a support of a spouse supporting me on that journey. But God knew I could have handled it. So he let me walk it alone. So when things happen to you in life, whether it's good or bad, give God thanks. I still get up and pray and give God thanks for waking me up every day. And even if things ain't go good, I still say thanks. And I still say, you know what's going on, I don't know. So when you see we fall, don't stay too long. You come from a real strong family. That goes for you too, all you're young. Don't let life keep all you down. If it's something you see is worth working out and fight for, you do that. Because we're humans.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Along the way, we're going to have problems. But we as humans have to be willing to love each other and work things out. You know, not everything is to get angry and upset. Sometimes you have to step out your comfort zone for some people, but then you quickly pull yourself back and say, this is not my character. You trying to pull me in a way I don't want to go. And you leave that alone and walk away. But life is no joke. My days in growing up, life wasn't like this. All you have a tough road to walk. This life ain't easy for all you know. You see what you seeing? Maddie ain't go see that. Something dreader might come. The world is in a bad place. And people doesn't understand that it have things that they call monitoring spirits. They monitor you. You don't even know. All of a sudden you going good. Just like that. Boom. Everything crash. And you wondering, but I was just going so good. And
I think Madison and I have been dealing with that recently. Madison, Mom, and I, where we won't always get into the most specific ever, but the month of May was really tough for us. As a family, and things felt like they were going as good as they had gone in a very long time. And then everything just got really tough.
I was just telling your mother that. I said, look at this season for us. I get to find out my husband have children and I had to throw him out. Now, all your mishaps, you don't have to put at it. Then, boom. Everything happened, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Because God is knowing that, you know, that is not where he wants us.
Yeah, and I was just telling my friend that.
A journey is coming for us where we will be happy.
Exactly. And you got to get to the point where you can handle these things. I was just grateful to be in a place where I could handle it. to be in a better place than I was last year.
Yes.
I'm sure, Madison, you've been in places where you would not have been able to handle what has happened to us recently,
Yes.
right? Where it's just like,
Yeah.
you have to do so much work
Yes.
and you have to have so much support.
Yes.
You have to be able to support yourself
Yes.
to be able to
Yes.
survive and stand through these
Yes.
things.
And you know, I always say to my kids, I mightn't be the best mother, but as a real good mother. My child can come to me anytime. I don't care. It's my children. You think I would turn up my nose because my grandchildren and children? Yeah. God designed this time to happen that we could be close and to be in one spot. And one thing I will never do, Ashley, is make my family uncomfortable here. I always go to work. I am the same. They cannot say I cheat. From the time I come, it's me and she. Me and Madison never had a problem. Me and this boy never had a problem. It's few people could say what I could say. That girl, my daughter, their mother, never give me no problem. That girl never curse me out, never tell me nothing out of the way or nothing if I say anything different. And that's a blessing in this generation and in this time. I can't tell nobody. There isn't a day somebody say she says something about me to make me feel it. I just show people love. So you see, sometimes when I show in love and you betray me, it's easy for me to let go. Because God sees and knows everything.
Yeah.
That your intentions are genuine.
Yes.
I'm the same
I don't
way.
mean no harm.
Nobody, it's important to me that none of the people that I care about can ever say I betrayed them, can ever say that. So that, you know, and I always give people way too many chances. But for me, it's because I care about people and I want to be absolutely sure that.
We family like that, you know.
I want to be
We
absolutely
talk,
sure
but
that
we
you're taking
are
me for a
love.
jackass before
Yes, we are
I
loving.
put you where you belong.
We just put up with a lot
Yeah.
before we say that's it.
Because I'd be like,
Yes.
I can't believe this.
Yeah.
No way. No way. They're having a tough week.
Yes, yes.
It can't be this.
Yes.
They're having a tough week. No way. Then the next week comes and it's like,
Same thing, or
What
even
we-
worse.
what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
me? Like, it's crazy. You put up with Madison.
Yeah.
Can you relate?
Yeah.
Just putting up with so much BS, and it's like, I can't believe
Yeah.
this.
We doubt ourselves. We give people hopes.
Yeah.
You know, we always think it's gonna. We blow off steam and then we just calm down and let it slide, and then it get worse the next and get worse the next. You know, you just see so much red flags till they start to look pink.
You know. You're not lying. You're not
And I
lying.
changed the color of the red flag in here. It went from red to pink and then it looked white fuzzy color gone.
Surrendered.
See what I'm saying?
It gets tough. It
Get
gets
tough.
tough. But at the same time,
And
we
you
have
just
trouble.
get some sucker punch, eh?
Yes.
If you ain't strong, you ain't straighten back up, you know.
Yes.
All that in the game. When you get a sucker punch, you just lose your breath.
And also, I've been my worst self, and I wasn't happy as my worst self. I've been in situations that were making me a worse person.
Yes.
I've been
You have to check
friendships,
yourself.
relationships,
Yeah.
whatever you call it, where I'm like, I'm always like this. I've never been not like this, and I've certainly never been the person that I see
Yeah.
myself becoming when this toxic thing is here.
Yes.
Right? And then you have to let it go sometimes, where it's difficult because it's like you start to believe that that's you, and then you start to believe you deserve the nonsense you're getting because you're like, well, I am doing this stuff,
You
and
know
I
why?
am becoming
It's
worse.
called trauma bond.
Yes.
You get used
Yes.
to it and you try to live in it and tell yourself, this is normal. And then you start now to
Trauma
question
bond.
yourself, this is me.
Sounding like a 25-year-old there.
See?
Man. Yes.
This is why it is be, and people doesn't understand that. Because a lot of people are narcissistic ways in them and we don't know.
That
Narcissists.
I had
And
no
we do it.
idea
No,
that
that is
my
her
grandma
favorite word.
was
That is her
so
favorite word.
advanced in her beliefs socially.
Yes.
We talking about undetected autism. We
Yes.
talking about all type of
Yes.
stuff that people's
Narcissistic
grandmas
of
don't talk about.
Narcissistic people is people that look normal, you know. But is a very, very deep-seated human being. They could traumatize you and make you start to question yourself now. I wonder if it's me. I wonder if it's this. It have nothing to do with you. They gaslight you till they get you where they want to. And then when they get you where they want to, they go out there and tell the John public you're crazy. He's a crazy person. And you're this. And one of the main thing is, I don't care, I'm gonna leave, and it's, go ahead, there's a door. That's how you have to respond to these people. These people on them, it's narcissistic people, it's demonic.
Oh, narcissistic too, yeah.
They're demonic.
Narcissistic people, it's
it's a sickness, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a mental sickness that goes undiagnosed.
And they confuse you. They'll scare you. I thought I was narcissistic for a while. I was
That's what the leaders do. There's devils. There's demonic people. Narcissistic people. They're very demonic and they're clever with it. And they had the love bombing phrase where they will do you the worst and then they come back nice like nothing had happened, but they can't be good for a week, eh? Give them less than a week and they jam you again because they skip you so. Yeah. They only give you enough chance for the wound to feel like it's healing. And then they come and they poke you right in that wound and open it right back up again. So you just have to figure out people and know yourself because you get so comfortable in them kind of toxic situation that you start to just let your guard down now and say, look, it is what it is. It's not is what it is. You got to get out of there.
100%.
You got to get out of there. And it's such a trauma bond that it's hard to leave. Because you live it for so long, you start to question yourself. Yeah. Should I go? Should I stay? Maybe tomorrow he could be good, she could be good.
You should always go.
Yeah.
You should always get out of there.
Yeah.
So this is we done an hour and a half. I hope to have you back on the podcast. I mean, I got to realize where I get some of these things from, I guess, because I didn't know you would be so good on the podcast. I feel like I didn't have to coach you at all, and you brought up so many poignant and interesting things. So I want to say I really appreciate you, Madison. I appreciate you for joining us as well. Can you say goodbye to the people?
Bye.
That's Madison.
All follow my Instagram. I'm a great person.
She's the star.
And I graduate in a year, so I accept Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, Cash, Mail, everything that you
All
can
of
possibly think of. Thank you. Thank you.
But we won't allow any packages from an Aubrey Graham.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Ashley,
I want to know what another dog.
thank you, Ashley, for having joined us and everything. And we that's it. I guess that's my family signing out.
Wait.